I'm Tyler Bancroft, and I play in Said the Whale.
I'm Ben, and I play in the band Said the Whale.
I'm Jacelyn Brown, and I'm the keyboardist in Said the Whale. I played classical piano growing up.
Piano? I was maybe 9.
I think I probably tried playing the guitar first, the acoustic guitar, because we always had one in the house. Then I picked up a bass guitar probably at the end of 7th grade because I thought the fewer strings would make it an easier instrument to play. And I got so bored of playing tabs off the internet, you know, modern rock tunes with 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and I wasn't really that good at music. So bass guitar, I'd say.
First concert was ZZ Top.
I saw Janet Jackson, and Usher was opening for her.
I remember hearing the Tragically Hip perform at Plaza of Nations from the park outside of my house. I grew up in Falls Creek. I remember sitting on the green hill near our place and hearing the Tragically Hip play. But I think Bush X was the first concert that I paid money to go see at the Coliseum, and I'm pretty sure Veruca Salt opened up, and it was epic.
I had a band with my girlfriends, and we called ourselves Queen for a Day.
Well, my first band's name was Particle. Bad name. And I was probably in grade 6, so like 11.
I was never in a band before Said the Whale. And before that, I was just a fan of music, and I liked writing. I was really into creative writing, so I'd write poetry. And after high school, Tyler convinced me we should make music together, so we did. Crash Test Dummies, When God Shuffled His Feet. That was the first album I purchased with my own money.
Not bought with my own money, but acquired of my own volition, was Green Day Dookie. And I traded the Dangerous Minds soundtrack to acquire it.
Sister Act 2, specifically Oh Happy Day and Joyful Joyful, and so I bought that.
Radiohead, the Pixies, Weezer, Tom Waits, the Beatles. I mean, I had a lot of CDs.
There's a lot of Count Basie and Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald. And then there's obviously the pop music that I was into at the time in high school, like Spice Girls and Mariah Carey and Destiny's Child.
End of elementary school was probably like Our Lady Peace, Everclear, Marcy Playground, Fastball, like those like 90s groups. My parents have always been super supportive of, you know, all of my interests and my passions. I think probably the idea of a career in music made them nervous at first, as it should, but, you know, they could see the level of drive I had, and, you know, I think the music was good and people were reacting to it. And then when we won a Juno in 2011, that was sort of just like a collective sigh of relief from my family. Not that that means you're like all of a sudden you're on easy street, because it's not at all. But that's one of those sort of legitimizing things that that make parents and people worried about your future sit back and breathe easy for a sec.
My dad always had an acoustic guitar around. My mom played the piano. My dad picked up the mandolin probably about 25 years ago, and been playing mandolin ever since. So I've been surrounded by music. Don't be concerned with what everybody else is doing. Focus on what you're doing and what you love doing. Do it to the fullest and enjoy it. Enjoy it all, because I have very fond memories of high school, because at no other time in your life do you get to hang out with your friends every day. Guaranteed you're going to meet them there. You don't have to call anybody or text anyone. And this was before, you know, cell phones were big too. So just guaranteed meet up with your friends every day.
Probably that there is no like moment of like, I've made it and I'm doing what I've set out to do. It's sort of this constant like reaching at the next goal and reaching at the next milestone and reaching at the next thing. You know, there was a point in time where I thought, okay, like if we ever headline the Commodore, like that's it. Like I have made it. All my dreams have come true. And then we did that, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, actually, we need to be doing more.
To not have so much anxiety of trying to be the best in every single aspect of your life. I feel like there's so much pressure on high school students. For me, anxiety was the big, like, hard point. Don't be so anxious. It's cool. Done, right? Yeah, I know. Like, we say that now too, but it just happens. So yeah, try to focus on just enjoying yourself and learning.
I had a great relationship with my teachers. They would describe me as a distracting student. I won't necessarily say class clown, but I was distracting. Every moment of silence, I would go, or something that I couldn't help doing. Spent a lot of time in the drama studio and the photography lab. I had a friendship with a lot of my teachers in a way that they liked me because I was friendly and nice, but I was a bit of a silly guy.
Yeah, I was definitely a good kid. Yeah, we had a very good crew in our high school. I think we were all like fairly obedient kids and all, really interested in the arts, and we did musical theater and played music and stuff. And our form of rebellion was more so like music than anything else.
High school experience in one word, fulfilling.
Enjoyable.
Oh, now it would be a blur. That would be the best way to describe it. Yeah, probably didn't know how good I had it.
I think I met a lot of my best friends who I'm still best friends with now. You obviously learn a lot. I had a very well-rounded school, and so I guess I came out pretty well. But yeah, fulfilling.
I was going to go to Ryerson and do film. I submitted my application and my best friend got in and I didn't get in, which sucked. But I ended up going, I did some traveling instead. I worked for some NGOs in Africa and then just kind of did music instead.
I never imagined I'd be doing music. I would have dreamed of that if I thought it was a possibility, but I never thought that I would end up being in a band because I wasn't a great musician and I didn't spend my time, learning how to shred a guitar or anything. I just kind of wrote as a passion, but I thought I would definitely do something in the arts like photography or film or acting.
I was interested in animals and animal science. I think it was in grade 11, you go and shadow someone in an industry that you're interested in, and so I went to shadow a veterinarian. And so then in university, I went into sciences to be a veterinarian, and I only got to second year because then I joined the band.
I went to UVic for a bit. I went to Langara for a bit, and I kind of just dabbled in undergraduate general studies and kind of tested out my interest level of different subjects, but nothing really resonated insofar as I would want to pursue it at a career level, and I just kept coming back to music.
Once it was this, I was kind of all in. When Tyler said, should we do this? Should we try and do music? And yeah, and then we made that choice. And here we are, back in high school.
I always told myself, if I ever make it as a musician, I'm going to make sure that I give back to younger artists in some way.
Call me, collect, call me anytime you need to. I'll be waiting.
Having never really felt like I've made it as a musician, like I said, always kind of reaching for the next thing, it's kind of easy just to keep reaching and forget that actually, at a certain point, I do have a career in music and I'm very fortunate and I'm among a small group of people that are able to have a career in music.
I would catch the next flight.
Just kind of wanted to design a program that was aimed at giving back to young artists. When I was in high school, I played in bands, and the first record that I made, I was 15 or 16, and I had to take out a loan from the Business Development Bank of Canada. And it was a $3,000 loan, and I was 16, and I had to pay that back, and that was stressful. And my parents could have helped me out, but they chose to let me learn, and I'm glad they did. So we've created this this grant that we're going to be offering, a $2,500 grant to a young person under the age of 18 to use towards their musical endeavors, and kind of nurture that level of creativity, and we've raised some money for their music programs, which hopefully will be put to good use, and this opening band contest that we're running to try and find somebody to support our show at Malkin Bowl. That's an opportunity that I would have killed for in high school. So really all of it is just kind of like trying to think of what are the things that we would have liked to see from more established artists when we were in high school, and trying to enact that ourselves.